Wow, 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 wow. Now, I just got an interesting call from a dealership buddy of mine who sent me an open letter that the dealership council, the National Dealer Council, has sent to Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis. And this letter is very, very interesting. And October 15th is going to be a very critical date to circle on your calendars. And we're going to get into it in this video. Unlike our friends at Stellantis, my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and DragRacingWheels.com have your best interests at heart with some of the best prices online. And with my promo code BUTTER that you can use at checkout, you can get an additional up to 15% off on your next order. So check out my friends at Just Bolt-Ons and DragRacingWheels.com. They have some of the best prices online for sticky Mickeys, rims, exhaust systems, tonneau covers, cold air intakes, whatever you can think of to keep your Mopar, your pony car, or your SUV on the road. My friends at Just Bolt-Ons and Drag Racing Wheels have you covered. So I'm over 35,000 friends and a 71% night subscribe. We've all seen the videos that me, TK, and OC Motivator has made over the past few months that Stellantis is a very bad sinking ship. It is like the fall of the Roman Empire when it comes to that brand and all the crap that's been filtered down from one CEO's decision to cost cut and lay everybody off. Now we see all the crap that's going on. So Mr. Le Cost Killer, which is his nickname over in the Netherlands or France, wherever he's from, he has an open letter from the National Dealership Council. And apparently this letter is very scathing because I just read it because one of my dealership friends actually sent this to me, a GM, and I want to thank him for sending me this to me. But I'm going to put this letter on the screen and we're going to go over it and I'm going to give my commentary on it as I actually go through this letter. Now, this is, like I said, an open letter to Mr. Carlos Tavares, the CEO of Stellantis, and like I said, this is from the National Dealership Council, and this was addressed at 9/10/2024. And we have Mr. Tavares. We are writing this letter on behalf of the entire U.S. dealership network and its employees. The intent of this letter is to sound an alarm, not only to you, but to the Stellantis board of directors, your employees, your investors, and your suppliers. For over 2 years now, the U.S. Stellantis National Dealership Council has been sounding this alarm to your U.S. executive team, warning them that the course you have set for Stellantis in the U.S. was going to be a disaster in the long run. A disaster not just for us, but for everyone involved. And now that disaster has arrived. And I don't have to tell you guys about all the crap that's been popping up over the past year, about all the quality issues, about all the thousands upon thousands of employees laid off, or the tens of thousands of employees that was fired over the last, 4 or 5 years that Stellantis has been in power. And now the company is running rampant with a bunch of foreign workers and a bunch of foreign engineers and foreign managers who don't know the first thing about American production. I got another video on top of that pretty soon, where I've learned that a lot of the plant managers are now from foreign countries, and you see all the crap that's going wrong with these plants could probably be linked back to bad leadership within these plants. But we'll get back to this letter. Let's see. In 2023, you engineered a record year of profitability for Stellantis, earning you the title of the highest compensated automotive CEO. You personally earned a record amount of almost $40 million that year. Unfortunately, the engineering and the structuring of that year has led us to exactly where we told your executives we would be today. That's very interesting because I did not know that the dealership group was sounding an alarm about for the last 2 years, because last year was supposed to be a record year. Let's see. The reckless short-term decision-making to secure record profits in 2023 has had devastating yet entirely predictable consequences in the U.S. market. Those consequences include the rapid degradation of our iconic American brands like Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Chrysler that have over a century of history in America. The market share of your brands has been slashed nearly in half. Stellantis stock price is tumbling, plants are closing, layoffs are rampant, and key executives are fleeing the company. Now you have investor lawsuits, supplier lawsuits, strikes. The fallout is mounting. Your own distribution network, your dealer body, has been left in an anemic and diminished state. Because I've been talking to a bunch of GMs around the country over the past several months, and a lot of them was playing games with the Demon 170's pricing, because that is like literally the last Halo product that these guys can make money on. Because don't forget that Stellantis earlier this year, earlier last year, showed those guys an outlook for Stellantis over the next 5 years. And I'm pretty sure that dealership meeting they went to last year in Las Vegas, the same week that they showed the Demon 170, they saw that there was not going to be crap coming out that they were going to make money on over the next 5 years. They've all seen this crap. So they was probably sounding alarm back then, because back then, even a year ago, people were not buying electric vehicles like that. It wasn't because electric vehicles are so scarce that people can't get into it. No one wants electric vehicles from these American brands. You might have a few tree huggers that buy those vehicles, but there are not more tree huggers than there are people who have actual lives where they depend on a vehicle that doesn't take an hour to charge to get to and from work. But let's get back to the letter. Unfortunately, these are just the consequences we feel today. The drastic market share downturn will have a long, lingering, painful fiscal impact on your parts manufacturing business for many years to come. The pain will not be confined to the company and its investors, your dealer network, their employees, your suppliers, and most of all, your own workforce. Everyone will suffer the consequences of these disastrous choices. And these choices have been very disastrous, because you can just see the writing on the wall from brilliant videos where you see that Stellantis has a lot of the top 10 worst selling vehicles in America. You got the Dodge Hornet, was like basically like a Pinto level style flop. No one's buying that vehicle, even though they try to do a lot of crazy either marketing with that vehicle, and then try to give like crazy rates, doing like 0% interest for like 72 months or 84 months, and people still are not buying the Hornet. Then you have the Grand Wagoneers, and the Wagoneers are some of the most buggiest vehicles in America. And I know several people who's had these vehicles caught up in dealerships for over a year and trying to get the thing fixed, from vibration issues to the radio stop working, to the air conditioning stop working, to some of these random screens in the vehicle stop working, to even videos that TK's Garage did where someone had a Grand Wagoneer. It literally cut off while someone was driving down the highway, and then it slammed on its brakes and came to a stop and engaged the parking brake. So these are just some of the issues that are going on with these vehicles because of stupid decisions made by someone who want to cost cut rather than produce quality products. Because ever since Stellantis has came into power, everything quality-wise has gotten worse every single year. Ever since 2020, 2021, things have gotten worse every single year. And the only reason why these people had record profits, because they were laying off tons of people, they was going with cheaper parts, and then they was basically going and having dealers fudge their numbers, manipulate vehicles that actually sold compared to vehicles they try to have them go and change over to like fleet vehicles and lease vehicles, all this other nonsense that they did. But now the crap has hit the fan, and these dealers, they are basically caught in the middle of this, because as Stellantis make these bonehead decisions, people are not going to dealerships buying these vehicles anymore. Because for one problem is these vehicles cost way too much money. Carlos Tavares doesn't understand the simple concept that Dodge was a blue collar brand. When the Hellcat first came out, it was not $100,000 vehicle. Now all of a sudden, within the last few years, literally every freaking Hellcat, Red Eye, Super Stock, Demon 170, Hellcat Durango, literally every single vehicle from Dodge is literally over $100,000, or right there touching $100,000. And that's just bad pricing. Jeep, you got these Grand Cherokees they're costing $60, $70, $80, $90,000 depending on what trim you go with. You got these Wagoneers and Grand Wagoneers. Some of these circles like $110,000, $120,000 when that vehicle is nowhere near an Escalade. It may look pretty on the inside, but it's still not an Escalade with a V8 in it. So these are just some of the issues that's going on with this company. And then even this Charter Daytona nonsense, $80,000 for a Scat Pack. Like, who was so boneheaded to think that naming this car a Scat Pack at an $80,000 price tag was a smart idea? But I digress. Let's get back to this letter. The bill has come due for your decisions that you made to engineer those profits in 2023 and your attempt at a soft landing on the backs of your employees, your dealers, and your suppliers is frankly just wrong. We did not create this problem. The federal government did not create this problem. The UAW did not create this problem, and your employees did not create this problem. You created this problem. This problem is only getting more expensive and worse with time. So we urge you to stop delaying and do the right thing right now. So you got the National Dealership Council putting the fingers directly at the CEO himself. None of the employees did this crap. Majority of those employees got laid off and they're at home. And they brought in a bunch of foreign employees from other countries to cut costs. And then the UAW is not a problem because UAW was making quality vehicles. And now all of a sudden under Stellantis with these cheap components from these cheap vendors, now all of a sudden the UAW can't build a single vehicle. And now all of a sudden, you know, Stellantis gonna keep trying to call out the UAW going like, oh, they can't build a quality vehicle. Oh, they can't build a quality truck. Oh, they have so many repairs. When a lot of those repairs is from supplier issues because Stellantis at sometimes they will not pay their suppliers the money that they're owed to supply them parts. And so some suppliers have sent them to court to go sue Stellantis. Sometimes Stellantis sued the suppliers because they didn't pay the suppliers, but I guess because they had a contract, the supplier had to go and give them parts. But Stellantis has been doing a lot of funny things. And the National Dealership Council, they understand that this is a Carlos Tavares problem, not a Stellantis problem, not an employee problem, not an engineer problem, not a UAW problem, not a dealer problem. This is a Carlos Tavares problem. Let's get back to the letter. It is time to turn production back on and start selling our way back to a respectable market share. Get your employees, our employees, and your suppliers' employees back to work by building and selling cars that Americans want to buy and can't afford. Let us clear out this old inventory now and get the plants working at full capacity. Yes, in the very short term, it will be painful for Stellantis, but mistakes at this level usually are. And he's directly calling out that Americans, I'm going to basically put words in their mouths that Americans do not want electric vehicles. And this whole Dare Forward strategy is backfiring badly because there's really no new gasoline powered vehicles that they have really announced other than the 6-pack Charger. And if the prices of that 6-pack Charger going to be anywhere near the prices of the EV versions, $80,000 for one version, $60,000 for another version, they might as well not even release that Hurricane version because, like I said, I've heard through the grapevine that a lot of these Hurricane engines are having problems. And I've heard through the grapevine that there have been batches of these Hurricane engines that have been dead on arrival. I've seen photos of where a lot of these Hurricane engines have red tags on them and stuff because they don't work and they gotta be either fixed or replaced. So the only other vehicles right now that this game-changing Hurricane engine is in is the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer, and that just happens to be one of the worst selling, most buggy vehicles in America. Then you had these Ram trucks coming with these Hurricane engines in them. Then I saw one YouTuber who basically did a review of a brand new 2025 Ram truck, and literally everything about the truck was buggy and didn't work. So I've also had dealers tell me that, hey, they've gotten brand new shipments around pickup trucks with a Hurricane engine in them and the thing won't start. I've had some dealers tell me that they got delivered some of these Hurricane trucks and they had to go limit them out before a customer even drives it because the daggone thing won't drive. So they're being sent broke vehicles. I guess because Stellantis was trying to get all this broken inventory off the lots and try to say, oh, well, we'll just put them on dealership lots to get them out of here so we can keep stacking vehicles that no one wants to buy. But let's go to the last paragraph of this letter. Let's see. We do not want an apology or your resignation. Those do not put people back to work, which honestly, they should have asked for his resignation. We simply ask that you do the right thing, write the check, pay your bill, and let's move forward. The U.S. National Dealer Council meeting is on October 15th, which is why I said October 15th is going to be a very important date, because Carlos Tavares, he kind of hates when people call him out and embarrasses him, just like he's trying to sneakily move production from the UAW out into like Mexico and Canada and Egypt and stuff to basically stick it to the UAW. So honestly, he needs to be gone. We hope to see you in attendance. I doubt that. Alongside your executives for a full day of work with your dealer council, working together to restore Stellantis and its brands to the great car company it rightfully deserves to be. Respectfully, I doubt that's very respectfully, just whatever, Kevin Ferris, chairman of the National Dealer Council. Then you have, let's see, Mike Bettenhausen, the vice chairman. You got Sean Hogan, the secretary of the National Dealer Council. And then you have Niall Maxwell, the past chairman. And all these guys basically signed on 9/11. Well, let's see, Niall Maxwell signed on 9/11. Yeah, 9/11, 9/10. So some of these guys signed this letter just yesterday. So yeah, I don't think this letter has been out there too long yet, but this goes to show you that there is a lot of problems within this company, and the dealers are fed up. And I know just from talking to general managers, I know general managers in multiple states. I know general managers in Florida. I know some in Texas. I know some in California. Those are the three biggest states that I've talked to that I know a lot of dealers in, and they are fed up. I mean, they're telling me all kinds of crap is going on between broken vehicles. Stellantis playing games with like their profit margins, shrinking their margins. So they got to literally mark up vehicles in order to make the same profit they did 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. I've seen the crap where these dealerships having the only way they can get vehicles off of their floor plan is that they got to basically play musical chairs with these vehicles. They got to go and package a Demon 170 and like 3 or 4 other vehicles in order to get another dealership to take that onto their floor plan, right? I've seen some of these trades where like one dealer had a Demon 170 and they wanted to trade that Demon 170 with like 10 Dodge Hornets and like 10 Dodge Hornets, I think about 4 or 5 Durango Hellcats, like 2023 versions. And I think 2025 is gonna be out pretty soon. So you had these dealers who are trying to get these old inventory off their floor plan. You're doing all these crazy trades amongst one another in order to survive. And I mean, you seen the video TK has done where these dealers are talking about, well, they're going to either close up stores, kind of like how Randy Marion has did here in North Carolina, where they want to get rid of one of their stores because Stellantis is not profitable anymore. It's not fun for these dealers. These dealers are having to either lay off salesmen, lay off GMs, close stores, or go send them to other brands that are making money. And I think it's only going to get worse the longer that Carlos Tavares is still heading the company. There's only 2 positive ways I see this company is ever going to get back to glory. Carlos Tavares resigns, or number 2, he sells these brands off to somebody else and they make the company shine again. This guy is not a good person to know how to run a company in the American market. And like I said, I got videos coming to where I'm going to talk about how a lot of these people in these plants, especially the engineers and the heads of these plants, they are no longer Americans with experience on how to run these plants. I was just talking to one of my UAW buddies today, and they were telling me that some of the plant managers that kind of, I'm just going to say, look like me, have been replaced for people from South America to run their plant, and their plant is running like crap. Literally the same time period that this guy's been appointed, they've been getting called out by how much crap is going on at that plant. And last time I checked, there are Stellantis managers who runs the plants, not UAW managers. So he's really calling out themselves because, like I said, Stellantis has their own people who heads these plants. So, like I said, I just don't see a way that this company is gonna basically get out of this hurt that they're currently in. There's no new products on the horizon that's gonna make me think that this company has any idea what they're doing, right? I mean, the only announcements we've seen that's gonna be popping up, you got what we get the RHO, which is a neutered TRX, which is still expensive, right? The RHO is literally the same price the TRX was when it got first introduced in 2021. So someone thought it was a great idea to make a Ram TRX with 200 less horsepower, no supercharger, and make it the same price it was when it first debuted. That was a very smart idea somebody had. Then you got, let's see, we're gonna not make any more Hemi V8s in Ram trucks, even though literally every full-size truck in America has a V8 option in it. Then you have the only other brand new truck that's gonna come out is a fully electric Ram Rev, which you already know is gonna be expensive, because if Dodge is gonna charge $82,000 for a Scat Pack that only has like 260 miles, how much money is Ram gonna charge for the Ram Rev that's gonna have double the range? Is that Ram Rev gonna cost $120,000? Kind of how like Chevy is having a hard time selling these Silverado EVs. Them suckers like $80-some thousand, just loaded down with plastic cheap panels. So I mean, and that is Ram, right? You got Dodge. We only thing we've seen is gonna come out from Dodge in the next 2 to 3 years. You're gonna have the Charter Daytona, nobody wants. Charter Daytona 4-door EV, nobody wants. And then you're gonna have the Hurricanes, which, like I said, the first year that they were gonna put the Hurricane engines in roadkill nights, they pulled it because there's something wrong with the engine. And then you got this year, they had the Hurricane engines. Some people have issues with those engines, right? And looking at some of the video footage from roadkill nights, those engines cannot get off the line. So those engines right there are not going to be fast. So I just going to hate to see the performance numbers next year when those Hurricane Chargers come out, because if they were impressive, we would have seen the numbers by now for them to squash any issues. But you know, TK showed the photos that I was saying in my live stream the other day about how I was going to get permission to release those photos. You see that the panel gaps on those Hurricane, well, not the Hurricanes, but the Charter Daytona EVs are horrible. So that's Dodge. And then you're going to have a Durango replacement, which more than likely is going to be an EV Durango replacement and not a gasoline Durango. And that's what, another 2 years from now. So Dodge in next 2 years is going to have only a Charger, a Charter Daytona, EV, Hurricane, and an old Durango, which are still going to probably put the Hellcat engine in for another year. And then you move over to Chrysler, it ain't going to have crap but a Pacifica minivan. And there's no news of when they're actually going to come out with the other replacement to either the 300 or they're going to make the Airflow. No one knows which one they're going to make. A sedan replacement, or they're gonna make a crossover EV, which I'm pretty sure no one's going to buy. I mean, you gonna move over to Jeep. The only new Jeeps coming out is basically going to be an updated version to the 4xEs, an updated version to the Grand Cherokee 4xE system. You're gonna have a brand new EV Grand Cherokee of one of the worst selling vehicles in America. You got the Jeep Wagoneer EV, like the full electric one. That's a disaster behind scenes from what I've been told. And then, like I said, I think you're gonna have a 4xE Grand Wagoneer. That's gonna be a disaster. No one's gonna buy because the damn thing is already too expensive. I mean, what else are you gonna have? Like, there's really nothing else coming that's gonna be like, oh, that's gonna be a hot seller. That's gonna be a hot seller. That's gonna be a hot seller. I guarantee you, every product that they come out with is gonna be way too expensive. And then, up in Brampton, they're gonna make 2 electric Jeep SUVs. Like, I know they're gonna have that Jeep Recon supposed to be an electric Wrangler, which I'm pretty sure no one's really gonna buy, because who's gonna go take an electric vehicle off-roading like a Wrangler? So this company is in free fall. Like, unless they put a V8 back into a vehicle, I don't see this company recovering. especially when their competitors are offering vehicles that Americans want. And that's basically what the dealership console said when I read the letter, that they want Stellantis to start making vehicles that Americans want. We don't want EVs. You got a certain small portion of the country who are crazy enough to sit outside for an hour or two in their cars while it's charging. I go around to plenty of Sheetz gas stations and some of these little marketplaces where they got these Tesla superchargers, and people are sitting there in their cars for literally an hour in the dead of night. And you got 3 or 4 people waiting to get charged while they're waiting an hour. They're really just sitting there in their cars like they don't have anything else to do in the dead of night. Like, I seen people waiting at a Tesla charger at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, still waiting to get on the charger. And there's no way in the world you're gonna mass produce a vehicle where someone gotta sit that long. And a Tesla can't make a fast charging vehicle. No way I believe these geniuses that Stellantis is gonna be able to outdo Tesla in anything. There's no way they're gonna outdo Tesla in anything. But like I said, Stellantis is in deep trouble. The only way they can get out of that trouble is if they sell the brands off or Tavares resigns. Like, there is no way their financial reporting in the next year is gonna get any better, because they're not going to offer a single vehicle that anyone wants. No one wants this crap they're coming out with. Every person I've talked to from the UAW or Unifor who's actually seen the crap going on in these plants with the electric vehicles, they're all telling me that every single one of them have problems, and every single one of them is being delayed. The Charter Daytona was supposed to be out back in June. As it was supposed to be out in June, and here we are in the middle of September, and still no news when the Charter Daytona is going to come out. So, like I said, this company is in trouble. This company is in decline, and they had no one to blame but themselves. But let me know what you guys think. Will this October 15th meeting be very, very explosive? Will Carlos Tavares has the guts to show up when they basically just called him out? Like, every dealership in America just called him out that flies the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram banner. So let me know what you guys think. Is Stellantis the next coming of the fall of the Roman Empire? Are they in Ron? Let me know what you guys think. And until the next time, I'm out.